Q Country 102.9 presents Roos Day Tuesday, a weekly discussion with SUNY Canton men's basketball head coach Ben Thompson, giving you the inside scoop on all things SUNY Canton basketball. Q Country 102.9 Tuesday, which means Roos Day Tuesday, and joining me in the studio is head coach of SUNY Canton men's basketball team, Ben Thompson. The SUNY Canton men's basketball team right now is 5-5, coming off a win at Cazenovia, and they're still undefeated in the conference. But Ben, wanted to talk to you a little bit about other SUNY Canton athletics.
Yeah, I like to use this platform to kind of give the athletics program as a whole some coverage, and so I wanted to congratulate Josh Ward, who's our women's basketball coach. He got his first win a couple weeks ago, and in a conference as well at Thomas. And then this weekend, our ladies hockey team tied Division I Sacred Heart. They did that, and then the men beat the 14th ranked team in the country, Fredonia, and then also tied them. So it was a big weekend for SUNY Canton.
Yeah, so it's a nice athletic season to be a Roo.
Yeah, it's a great day to be a Roo.
Well, congratulations to all of SUNY Canton athletics, but let's dive right back into the SUNY Canton men's basketball team. Last Tuesday, you had a game against SUNY Potsdam, and for me, it was the most exciting game of the season. Came down to a last-second shot. Unfortunately, the Roos fell to the Bears by one possession. Two things I took away from this. One, the crowd was absolutely electric. I think I stood up on my feet like 12 times in the last 2 minutes alone. But it felt like, although you lost, it felt like a turning point in the season. What did you take from this game?
Yeah, I thought our guys played hard. I thought that we did not execute very well in the last minute and a half, minute 45. We had a couple breakdowns, kind of didn't really go through a play that we called out of a timeout, and then the final play we struggled with as well. So there's areas to grow. I thought we had a couple bounces that didn't go our way, too. I think their last possession, the ball was kind of bouncing around. Their guy caught it right in front of the rim and, finished it and gave him the lead. And so that stuff happens, but, you've got to be able to buoy that with your execution and how hard you play. And I thought that we played really, really hard. We just didn't execute very well in the last stages of the game.
I think the first half, your team was dominant, and so that's why I say it was a turning point where you showed some great points where this team is capable of hanging with the very best. And although you went away with a loss, it kind of leaves that bad taste in your mouth that you don't want that feeling again. You don't want to come that close but fall short. So looking forward to the season, we've got some big games ahead of us, a lot of your conference to play. This weekend past, you beat Cazenovia, where you scored 50 points in the second half in that win. And that's the second most points that you scored in any half all season long. Being down at halftime, 30-36, what changed at halftime? What did you say to your guys in Cazenovia?
I was mad. That's what I said.
Oh, yeah?
We had an interesting chat in the locker room at halftime, and I just kind of called some guys out. We kind of went with some lineup changes that I felt would be beneficial for us. We kind of started off the game with kind of more of a defensive lineup. I kind of chewed on Jordan Stewart a little bit at halftime, and he came out and played really, really well in the second half. And then Kadeen Bennett came out, and we ended up leaving him in the entire second half. He played all 20 minutes, but he locked them up. And his defensive effort and energy and how he handled the press was a big reason why we won the game. We do this lunch pail deal. It's a blue-collar thing in honor of my grandfather who passed away, but it's his lunch pail. And so he used to take it to a factory, and so that's kind of like our a symbol for us, for a hard hat and blue-collar working mentality. And
the boots on the ground that gets the job done.
Exactly. And so after the game, I told Kadeen, when we get back, you're getting the lunch pail because he earned it.
Yeah, that's a great honor. And there's tons of more lunch pails to be earned. A lot of this season is coming down to those conference games that you have coming up. And a big game you've got coming up, although it's not in the conference, it's going to be played at Barclay Center in Brooklyn. It's a huge venue, huge stadium, and I can't wait to talk more about that when we return on Roos Day Tuesday on Q Country 102.9. Q Country 102.9 presents Roos Day Tuesday, a weekly discussion with SUNY Canton men's basketball head coach Ben Thompson, giving you the inside scoop on all things SUNY Canton basketball. Q Country 102.9, we're returning with the second half of your Roos Day Tuesday. Now, Coach, I saw something on your Twitter page. You had something really interesting happen with your team after the game at Cazenovia. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, so we always have post-game either delivered to the bus or we'll go somewhere. And so we went to Wendy's, called ahead, told them we were coming. And the manager kind of told me at the end of our trip as our guys were leaving, she said that it was the best, most polite group bus team that they'd ever had. And so that was a huge, proud moment for me. We really stressed gentleman, student, athlete in our program, and so that was really cool that other people noticed as well.
That's a great honor when, obviously, you want your players to play well on the court, but you also want to see them become real gentlemen and scholars off the court. So that's great. That's very commendable. And I'm happy that happened to your team.
It was awesome. It was cool.
I know a lot of the guys personally, and that doesn't surprise me at all. It really does not.
We have a great group of guys.
You do. That's true. And you guys are playing really, really well as of late. You won this game against Cazenovia, and coming up, we've got a big game against Paul Smiths. Now, you've seen Paul Smiths before. It's not so much about the team that you're playing, but where you're playing them that's special. You're heading out to Brooklyn, New York, and you're playing at the Barclay Center, which is where the Brooklyn Nets play basketball. Is this the biggest arena that you've ever played at? And is there a way that we can maybe look on the website for a way to watch this game?
Yeah, there should be a live stream if you go to our schedule. There should be a link there up towards the end of the week. As far as SUNY Canton, it will be the biggest arena that we've ever played in or coached in.
Oh, yeah.
Especially since I've been here. So it's a big opportunity. I think we've got 7 or 8 of our guys are from New York City. So to go back to their hometown and their boroughs that they're all proud about will be a cool experience.
Do you know if a lot of family members, friends are coming out to that game?
I think there are several, yeah.
And that game happening this Friday, December 14th at 2 p.m. If there is a live stream link available, we'll post that on our Facebook page come Friday. Now, after that game at the Barclays Center, you break for the holiday. You come back and you have 2 away games, one right here against Clarkson, and then another you travel to Vermont. And after that, you've got a real long stretch of conference games. Is that holiday, that break, where your guys are going to go home, are you afraid of losing momentum, losing any team chemistry? And what are you going to do to maybe combat that?
No, I don't think so. I mean, you've got to trust your guys that they'll all be working on their own, when they're home. And, I'm not going to ask them to crush themselves, but, they need to get out and do a little running and a little basketball every day while they're home. And for the most part, I think they'll probably do that. Coming back against Clarkson, obviously a local rivalry. And then Middlebury is an elite level program nationally. And so our guys are really looking forward to that game as well. And, they're top 15 every year. So that'll be a good kind of final test before we head into conference play.
Yeah, I know that your team has been developing throughout the season. One player who I always watch and I'm very impressed by, Robert Holliday Jr., 23 points against Potsdam, 17 points against Alfred, and then 20 points with your win at Cazenovia.
To touch on your point about Robert, he's been playing really well, but it's not just his scoring. Like, he's been finding other guys and making good passes, and I think yesterday he had a double-double. He had 11 rebounds. So it's not just his scoring. He's really kind of contributing in all areas right now.
Yeah, it's great to see because, as I said, conference games coming up right after break. I believe your next home game is January 4th. But again, as I said, I will be posting the live stream, if it's available, for this Friday's game against Paul Smiths, where you'll be taking them on at Barclay Center in Brooklyn. That's going to do it for this edition of Roos Day Tuesday. Ben, thanks so much for coming into the studio.
Go Roos!